Hi, my name's Neil and welcome back to Retro for You. On this week's episode we're going to be looking at this here. It's an Amiga 500 Plus board and it's sent to me from one of my subscribers to say it just stopped working, Neil. It was working and he's got it out from the attic or wherever he had it stored and now it doesn't work. It doesn't output anything at all apparently. So we're going to be taking a look at that and see if we can get some life back into that board. Now before we start this video I just want to say about my live stream. I've had to push it back due to unforeseen circumstances beyond my control. I've had to push it back a week. So now instead of being this Sunday, it's a Sunday after. I have updated the link and I've also updated the thumbnail, etc. So hopefully I'll see you there. And hopefully Glenn from CRG will be joining us as well as a special guest. So on that note, let's crack on and try and get this board fixed. Hi and welcome to this. This is the A500 Plus board. Now somebody sent this in for me to look at to try and repair. Apparently what he's doing is showing a red screen and maybe flashing some colours. Now I haven't seen that before, so I thought let's have a go. It's got to be worth a try, hasn't it? Now you can tell it's not a normal 500 Plus. It's had quite a bit of an upgrade. It's got a Terrible Fire TF536 in it, which has got an 030 running at 50 megahertz, it says there, which is quite fast for an A500 Plus if I say so. And it's also got, I think, a 1 meg expansion there as well. So it's a sort of souped up 500 Plus. I have noticed straight away that this here, the IDE, is not plugged in correctly. So I'm just going to remove that because it seems to have missed a row of pins. I think maybe the guy just put it together quickly before he sent it off to me. So we're just going to remove that slowly and just move that out of the way for now. We'll put the screen image up in the corner so you can have a look, so you can see what I'm seeing basically. And then we're going to start by troubleshooting this and hopefully get it going. So let's turn this thing on and see what it does. So we've got a sync signal, we've got a green screen, and we've just got a green screen and a red screen. And some flashing. I haven't seen that before. A green, a red, and some flashing. So it's syncing between the two, isn't it? So it's going green, red, then flashing a load of colours. Okay, so the plan of action is, I think what we need to do is to remove all these upgrades. So we're going to remove the 500 Plus expansion here, and we're going to move the Terrible Fire as well and put in the 68,000 that I've got. Just put it back to stock so we can see if it works stock first. I think that's the way forward. And of course we'll check the voltages, etc. Check they're all okay. I think they're okay because it is outputting something, but we do need to check then. And obviously we'll check the clock, the reset signal, and the other signals, albeit around the board. But also I've got a Diag ROM as well, which I plan to put in. So that's the plan moving forward. But first, let's get these parts removed and get it back to standard. So as far as I remember, these two here, I've seen these before, they come off in two pieces. So first you take off this part here, which is your main processor board and accelerator. Then it has this little adapter here. And all this basically does, it moves the connector from there to that place so it'll fit the board in. So all we need to do is just slowly remove that, just like so, and we'll put that to one side. Also while we're at it, we'll get this expansion removed as well here, because we don't want anything in here that will cause any issues. We just want to prove it working first as a standalone 500 Plus. I think that's the way forward. Drop me a comment down below if you think I'm going about this wrong, but this is the way I'm going to work on it. We'll also go and unplug this ROM as well eventually and put a Diag ROM in, but that's after I've checked the voltages at the floppy drive connector. So we're just going to get a 68,000 now that I know works, and we're going to place it in here. So we're just going to insert this 68,000. I do have my ESD strap on for you that are concerned. And make sure this goes in the right way because it's so easy sometimes to put these upside down, I found. So you can tell here it goes in, pin 1 is down here. So what we're going to do, there's a big 1 on the board there. We're just going to line it up and push it into place. just like so. So that's the 68000 in place now. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to apply some power again and just give it another test. Same again, here we go. And now we've got a black screen. So that is something totally different. CPU warming up, it is. So now we've just got a black screen. Nothing, nada. Now you can know these 500 pluses has had its battery removed, but I can see some green around the legs, etc. So we may have to look at that at a later time as well. But at the moment we're just getting a black screen. I definitely put that CPU in the right way. Yes, I did. Just double checking, guys, and checking all the pins are in. Yes, they are. So just going to try again. So it's got a sync, but all we're getting is a black screen. So let's move on to the next thing, where I said we're going to check the voltages on the board. So we'll just go and check the voltages. The first one should be 5 volt, which is here. Bingo bongo, 5 volt, that's correct. The next one should be 12 volt, which is here. 12 volt, that is correct as well, and they're steady as well. So there's no problem with the voltage on this board. All seems to be good. So let's move on to the next part, the diagnostics. Next, I've got a Diag ROM here, freshly burned, and it should go in this away, like so. So we're just going to put that in and push it in. Now we've got the 68000 and we've got the Diag ROM in. We're just going to run this again and see if we've got any different output. So here goes nothing. Let's turn it on again. And now we have a red screen with lines. Now I've never seen that before as well. That's something different again. Now we've got a black screen again. No change. Black screen again. So this is like that A1200 had a black screen, isn't it? So what I'm going to do, we're going to crack out the scope and we're just going to check if we've got a clock and if we've got a reset signal. So I'm on the reset pin. We're going to check the signals now, and let's just check if it's just jumped from low to high, which it does. So that is good. Next we'll check the clock signal, which should be this pin here, and it should be around, I think, 7.14 megahertz if I remember, because unlike the Atari ST, which ran at 8 megahertz, the Amiga was a bit slower on the clock, which was one of my arguments for the playground, which it is 7.14 megahertz on the scope. So that is absolutely brilliant. So it looks like it is trying to run. So we have a clock and we have a reset signal. So let's move along and see what else we can find out. We are back on this Amiga repair, and see, the last time we found the clock signal, it all seems to be like it's trying to start. Now, I'm sure you're aware these 500 plus boards, they had the battery here which leaked and caused damage. So I'm going to look closely around this area here, because I think it looks a bit green around the Gary chip here. So let's get the microscope and have a look under there, and also remove the Gary chip and see if there is any green damage or corrosion underneath that chip. Here's Gary, and as you can see, there is corrosion around here. Well, you can see a lot of bluey greeny colour I can see. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pop Gary out. So I'm just going to gently pop old Gary out, and let's have a look at these sockets. Yeah, you can see they're rather corroded and green in there. Just having a look along, you can see how green they actually are. They're just full on green. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this socket out, and then we're going to check the continuity between these pins, etc., before we put a new socket in. hopefully this is causing some of the issue, because if you take, for example, this one here, it's black, but all these are green. There's only one clean one, which is there, and maybe one roughly there. The rest are just pure green. So what they're like underneath the socket, we won't know until we get it off. So let's just quickly get that socket removed. So looking at these underneath, you can see there is some corrosion damage. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to get all these cleaned up. Now the bottom looks absolutely perfect. As you can tell, there's no damage at all to the bottom. So it seems like the corrosion is, like I say, under that socket. So what we're going to do, we're going to visit amigapcb.org and we're going to ping out these signals before we actually put the new socket on, to check if there's any tracks we need to fix, etc. So wish me luck, guys, and let's hope we can get this done.
Approximately 10 hours later.
That all checks out okay. It could have been just the main corrosion in that socket though, so I'm glad I've changed it anyway, because it was really corroded inside the socket. So I'm going to get this cleaned up and just get a new socket put into place. We have the socket replaced, we have the Gary chip in place, we've got it connected up. Let's see what we got before we get in like a black screen. We've got the diagram in. Now that looks promising. The light is flashing as well. We're stuck on a red screen, but that does look as if it's trying to start now, which it wasn't doing before. You see the actual light is actually pulsating now, which it never did before. And then we're just stuck on the red screen. Now these colours that flash at the start are normal. I think the next thing we're going to look at are these data paths around here, because this seems to be the area since we replaced that chip there, that socket, it seems to have gone a lot better. So these also look a bit green and crispy. So what we're probably going to do is lift these 4 chips here and socket them and give them a clean as well, just so we can see what's going on and just get this area sorted. So let's crack on. This is a repair I've done here. Unfortunately, I forgot to press record. So what it was is this one here was broken, so I've put a piece of Kynar wire through that hole, cleaned back the tracks, and then soldered it on here. You can see there that's soldered, and then I've covered it in UV mask, and the UV mask is now just going off, you can see. And then what we're going to do, we're going to re-socket it and we're going to check if this is okay. This is U12, which is the closest to the battery, so it makes common sense that if any are going to get damaged, it's going to be this one. So hopefully all the other traces checked out okay, and it should hopefully be fixed. Let's wait and see, guys. Now since that, I plugged it back in and we ran it through the serial, and I'll show you now what I was getting. I was getting loads of FFFs, like memory fails, etc. Okay, so I've got the Amiga connected to putty through a Null modem cable. Since we resocketed Gary, we got more life. We looked at the data path and I repaired a broken trace. Now since that, we get a different thing now when we're booting up. We're getting a red and green flashing screen, which is, I think, memory. But I'm just going to run this through and see if we can get any information through the serial debug. I don't know what that is at the top, but this is saying failed memory, which is good. So there's probably a couple of these memory chips failed. So I think the next port of call will be to lift these memory chips, there's 8 of them in total, and then put new sockets and also check the traces underneath as well. And we'll just re-socket that as well. For future reference, it's actually better to do that and have a look underneath, because he could have got damaged as well with this battery leak. But at the moment, we are actually getting somewhere with this. I mean, we started with just a black screen, and now we got some life out of it. It says there anyway, look, no memory found, halting system. So that's a good idea, that is, to use a Null modem cable, because it does show you another bit of information you can't generally see. So let's crack on, and I'll get these memory chips socketed, and we'll see from there what we can do.
1 week later.
This is where I'm up to. The memory is now socketed. The data lines are now socketed. And of course, we socketed the Gary at first, because this fetched it partly back to life. Now, after a lot of diagnostics, a very huge amount of probing, I found out that these two lines here, there was another break in a line here. I'll show you where this break was now on Amiga Explorer. The actual break in question was here, between pin 2 and pin 2 of there. So what I did is I ran a patch wire underneath using some Kynar wire to resurrect that joint. So after a lot of messing around with memory, etc., you can see here there's a whole pile of memory chips here, and swapping around, I've actually got somewhere, and this is where we're up to. So as you can see, it now lives. It's been saved. So it seems like a lot of battery corrosion mainly has caused this issue. I mean, I managed to clean it up. I've repaired the tracks, but also failed memory as well. Nearly all the chips in there had failed. I think maybe 1 or 2 works. Anyway, I just ended up changing it for some Texas Instruments and a Motorola, because that's what I had on hand that seemed to work well. And now I can run all the tests and it passes, etc. So the only thing we need to do now is to get that processor upgrade back in, get the card in, and we'll just do one final test and check it all works. So there you go, guys, another Amiga fixed. I was going to put this in, which is the Amiga Store Terrible Fire TF536 with also ID as well, which is absolutely brilliant upgrade for this. But I put his 3.1 Amiga ROM he sent me, and this is what I'm getting. A yellow screen. But look at this. I put my Amiga ROM in, which I've got here, which is an Amiga 1 out of 500 plus. And let's see now. And as you can see, it's booting fine. I mean, that has got the 68,000 in. We can try putting the accelerator in now and see what happens. I think it's worth a try. We'll put this in with this ROM and see if it works. I've got the accelerator in. I've got the ID linked up. I'm not sure whether there's anything on this. I'm not sure whether it auto boots. I don't know anything about these things. I've never played with one. I've got the version 2 ROM in because it doesn't want to boot with this 3.1. And I'm just going to turn it on now for one final time so you can see. There you go. It all looks to be working. So there you go. It's gone to the boot screen. I've run Diag with this accelerator in. It passes everything, so it's all good. I'm really happy that this has been fixed. Hopefully the guy will as well when it gets returned to him, as this is one of my subscribers' board that he sent to me that suddenly stopped working, and it was all the corrosion caused from this battery. I'm just going to do a bit more things to tidy it up, like recover this with some UV mask, etc., and also the bridge underneath. I'm going to cover that with some UV mask and just cure it so it's secure and it won't go anywhere. It can't come off and it can't shut. We're just going to boot this up to the workbench now. You have to excuse me, I'm using a tank mouse. And we're just going to run sysinfo and just see how fast this processor is. So we go to run, utils, it wasn't utils, it was system maybe. and then hardware. And I think that will load sysinfo. There you go. So you can see here it's got a 6030 in it, which is crazy for a 500. So we'll run the speed test here. So look at that, it's actually faster than the 1200. A lot of times faster than the 1200. Shame it hasn't got the AJ chipset in it. It's almost, well, it's about half the speed of an A4000 with a 6040. So that's really good, that is. That's a nice spec accelerator for this. So I guess if you're stuck with a 500 and you want ID, etc., then these are brilliant, these TF536s. Yeah, I've never heard of one before. This is the first time I've seen one. I know Telbuff do some good products. So that's about it. That's all I'm going to do today on this board. I'm going to end this video on this because it's been a few weeks repairing this board. And I shall see you in the outro. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget to hit that like button, please. And also drop a comment down below, even if it's hello. Also, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I think now I'm actually past 2,000 subscribers. So big thank you to everybody that's subscribed. It's an amazing feat. I didn't think I'd actually get there. Also, a big thanks to the people that are paying members. It's 99p a month and it helps towards the running of the channel to help create videos. I'm still learning, but I'm quite enjoying the journey and learning as I go along. While I'm here as well, don't forget to check out my YouTube buddies down below. You got the likes of Captain Commodore, 8-Bit Retro Refix and Joseph Retro Bits. Also come along to our Retro Repairers Discord channel where you can come along and chat to us all, have a chat about retro or just have a chat about day-to-day life. News-wise, you eagle-eyed people may have noticed another Mac behind me. Yes, there's another Mac coming for repair. That pile seems to go down and fill up all the while. And don't forget to check out the live stream the end of next week. We're all going to be there, as well as Glenn from CRG, hopefully. And on that note, I shall see you next time on Retro For You. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.